My roommate Jake has been dating this girl for 2 years and I watched the whole thing almost fall apart this spring. He finally told me what really happened and honestly, I'm still processing it. So Jake and his girlfriend Emma had been together since college. Good couple, you know? But around February, things got weird. She started getting distant, picking fights over nothing. He'd try to plan date nights and she'd cancel last minute. When they did hang out, she was on her phone the whole time. The breaking point was this dinner they had planned for weeks. Emma loves this little Italian place downtown, so Jake made reservations, got dressed up, the whole thing. She showed up 20 minutes late, barely looked up from her phone during dinner, and when he tried to hold her hand she pulled away. Just completely checked out. He came home that night and I could hear him on the phone with his mom, basically crying. Talking about how he didn't know what he was doing wrong, how Emma used to light up when he walked in a room and now she barely acknowledged him. It was rough to listen to. A few weeks later, Jake tells me he's been seeing a counselor. Nothing wrong with that, but he only went like 3 sessions before he stopped. Said it felt too clinical, too expensive, and the guy kept wanting to dig into his childhood when all Jake wanted was to figure out how to connect with Emma again. That's when he found something on his own. Some kind of next step after the therapy didn't work out. He never really explained what it was, just said he was working on being more intentional as a boyfriend. And man, the change was immediate. Like, scary immediate. First thing I noticed was the flowers. Not just any flowers, but Emma's favorite yellow tulips. She'd mentioned them once like 6 months ago after we walked past a flower shop. Jake remembered and showed up at her apartment with them on a random Tuesday. No special occasion, just because. Then it was the little things. Emma always complained about her roommate leaving dishes everywhere, so Jake started bringing her coffee and pastries from that cafe she likes when she was stressed about it. He remembered she had a big presentation at work and texted her good luck at exactly the right time. Started leaving these little notes in her car when he knew she'd had a hard day. But here's where it got interesting. Emma started getting suspicious. She pulled me aside at a party and asked if Jake was seeing someone else. I'm like, what? She goes, he's acting completely different. He's attentive, he's romantic, he remembers everything I say. Guys don't just change like that unless they're guilty about something. I tried to tell her she was crazy, but she was convinced. She started going through his phone when he was in the shower, checking his location, asking me weird questions about his schedule. The more loving he got, the more paranoid she became. The whole thing came to a head on a Saturday morning. Emma confronted him directly, accused him of cheating, said all this romantic stuff was just guilt and overcompensation. Jake just stood there in our kitchen looking completely defeated. That's when he finally explained everything. How the therapy hadn't helped, how he'd found something that was actually teaching him to show up differently, how every gesture was real and came from wanting to be the boyfriend she deserved. He told her about the daily things he'd been doing, the weekly check-ins with himself, how he'd been learning her love language and actually following through. Emma broke down crying. Not sad crying, but that ugly cry when you realize you've been completely wrong about something important. She'd been so convinced that good boyfriends didn't exist that when she got one, she couldn't recognize it. They're engaged now. Planning a wedding for next fall. And Emma tells everyone she can about how Jake became the man she didn't even know she was waiting for. Makes you wonder how many good relationships end because we can't believe someone actually wants to change for us.